The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNC Now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees and shares all things new. I am Nato Agbayani, host of Hashtag Para sa Bayan. I'm streaming directly from Quezon City. Good evening and welcome to the Hashtag Para sa Bayan here on the new channel. Hello and welcome back to the show. You're watching the 50th episode of Hashtag Para sa Bayan here on Season 4. And tonight we will be discussing political parties and the party list system, what's happening to Philippine democracy. So yung question maybe is, what's Mr. Agbayani's take on this? No, I mean, si Nato ba, does he know the political system? Siguro po, a little background there. We were with the 15th Congress, and then prior to that, we have already been active in the political system as a consultant of several people. No, so well, often maybe we just like to discuss how the political system works. No, now that we have the barangay and SK elections coming up. So parang siyempre BSKE elections, ang daming tumatakbo mga kapitan. The other day, kapitan at saka mga kagawad, even SK chairpersons, no? So the other day we had the 28th Barangay Day of Quezon City, and all the barangay officials were there, the barangay treasurers also, and I think the barangay secretaries, even the administrators. So we had we were at Novotel, and ang dami-daming tao, no? And of course, part of that is giving the awards to yung tinatawag nating seal of good housekeeping para po sa ating mga well-performing barangays, or kumbaga there is a standard and these barangays are performing beyond the standard. No? So we'd like to congratulate our friends who won several awards, particularly yung mga barangay Sikatuna, and then the different barangays, no, lalo na yung mga ating mga kaibigan ng mga kapitan at kagawad, no. So well, of course, that's part of the political system, and at the national level, we have the political parties, we have the party list system. Siguro ito, lalo na sa mga kabataan kasama natin dito na nanonood. Diba sa ating mga campuses, meron yung SSG, mga Student Council, or Supreme Student Government, yan sa mga senior high school or even sa college. And you have different parties running for different positions to, kumbaga, ika nga is to lead, no, the young people in the campuses. Ngayon, tayo naman po sa Pilipinas, for example, we have the House and the Senate. We have a bicameral system na tinatawag natin, where you have the Senate as a part of the legislature, and of course the House of Representatives. Currently, When I was there, over 250 congressmen, no? When I was there in the 15th Congress a few years back. Now there's 316 seats, no, in the House of Representatives, and the majority is about 159. No? So we'll just give a little background, no, kung sino yung mga umupo sa ating house, no. On May 9, 2022, nagkaroon ng elections, di po ba, last year. So, based dun sa ating statistics, 22.73% of that was PDP Laban, or 68 seats. No? Dati, they had more. Nationalista, that's 13.72, they have about 36 seats. Yung NUP has 12.63 or 33 seats in the House. Yun namang Lakas, meron tayong 9.39% of the House, no? Nasa kanila is 26 congressmen. The Liberals, yung sa Liberal Party, we have 3.79%, no? Or 10 congressmen, down by 8%, no? Or down by 8 points dun sa ating dating presence nila dun sa previous Congress. We're talking about the current Congress now. Tapos yung mga single digit, of course, we have Hugpong ng Pagbabago. That's the party of Sara Duterte and of Digong, President Digong. And then also, we have the PRP, which is about 1.96%. Yan yung mga 3 people in the House. No? And then Reforma, we have about less than 1%. About 2 people. And then same with the PFP and PDDS. Also with the NUP1 Cebu Party. And lastly, meron pang mga ibang parties down the line, no? So dati po, if you are familiar with the bit about Philippine history, we had about 2 parties, no? So 2-party system. We had the Nationalista Party, and then of course we had the Liberal Party. Noon po yon, nung panahon na prior to the presidency of President Marcos Sr., no? Or si FM. So after that, parties were liberalized. Nagkaroon ng iba't ibang parties during the time of nung time ni President Marcos Sr., nag-emerge yung tinatawag nating KBL or Kilusang Bagong Lipunan, which was the party of the president. But we still had Nationalista, we still had Liberal, but of course at that time, Liberal Party was the opposition and KBL was the administration. Ganun po, no? Every elections nakakaroon tayo ng, of course, mga minority and tinatawag nating majority parties. Ganun din po, di ba? Yung mga kabataang estudyante, alam naman natin yun. Meron din mga ganon sa school. So it's basically the same, although the difference being national yung scope niya, national yung character niya. So for example, if you have, during the time of President Marcos Sr., majority yung KBL because syempre whoever is in the administration, yun yung kumbaga very close to the president and by ano bang tawag mo doon? By affinity or by their closeness or their proximity to the powers that be, meron silang access doon sa powers of the president, no? Like I don't know if you followed this show. Marami na po tayong discussion. Ako, si Nato Agbayani, bilang student of government o isang estudyante ng pamahalaan or ng pamamahala. Matagal na po natin pinag-aaralan to at isinasagawa, no, bilang consultant sa iba't ibang mga localities, no, or even sa pambansang pamahalaan. So, yun po, nagkaroon ng multi-party system. Ito na pong time ni President Aquino, nagkaroon na po ng mga multi-party system. So dumami ang parties. Pero even prior to that, no, bago naging super dami po ng mga political parties, merong opposition. No? Kung di ako nagkakamali, meron yung opposition party which is yung UNIDO, United Parang Democratic Opposition, that was led before by Vice President Laurel, no? Hindi pa siya vice president noon. Naging vice president siya by virtue of yung People's Power Revolution. Di po ba nagkaroon ng of course swearing in ni Mrs. Aquino as President of the Philippines under the revolutionary government, and also Vice President Doy Laurel. Dito na nag-start, this was 86, at kung saan na nag-start na yung pagdami ng parties, no, sa Pilipinas. So kanina ang dami kong na-mention na political parties, but siguro yung medyo shall we say medyo masasabi nating political parties na nagtagal or during yung tinatawag nating post-Marcos senior presidency, dumami po talaga. So meron kang maririnig na Nationalista Party. Yung Nationalista Party naging National People's Coalition. Meron din po tayong iba't ibang partido, yung KBL, andyan pa rin naman. It became a minority party, but again, ngayon, under the Marcos Jr. Presidency, parang they're still there, but I think nagkaroon ng iba't ibang platforms na ang administration, no? And then we have, of course, yung Lakas. Dati Lakas NUCD, Lakas, parang I think the original term was Lakas ng Bayan. And then of course, yung one of the oldest political parties dito sa Pilipinas, yung PDP Laban, no? Yung Partido Demokratikong Pilipino, which if I'm not mistaken was started by of course the time ni former Senator Aquilino Pimentel, and marami pa pong mga kasama noon sa PDP. I think in fact kasama din before si former Mayor and Vice President Jejomar Binay, no, when they established this. So nung time ng Aquino administration, they became a party, majority party. Nagkaroon din po ng, well, during the time of the Cory Aquino administration, nag-umpisa na pong balangkasin yung 1987 Constitution, kung saan nagkaroon po ng pagtatawag ng members of the Constitutional Commission para po balangkasin yung bagong Constitution. So that was how many years ago? 1986, napakatagal na rin po, no? Then eventually, nagkaroon ng Local Government Code ng 1991, nabuo po yung iba't ibang batas na nangangalaga or nakatutok sa pagpapabuti ng ating mga local government units, lalo't higit yung mga barangay. Now we are proximate to the barangay elections, no? Ito po malapit na mangyari. October 30. So marami pong tumatakbo ngayon. I think there are almost 500,000 positions at stake. Kasi po sa barangay, merong of course the barangay chairman, and then the 7 kagawads also for the the SK chairperson, and also 7 kagawads. So mahalaga po yung supposed to be ang barangay elections is non-partisan, but of course you cannot you cannot blame, or parang part of the part of our democracy is meron diyang partisan politics pa rin. So yung mga members of, let's say, whoever is the mayor or the vice mayor or the councilors or the congressman, may at one point in time na sila ay shall we say, nakiki-join dito sa election, because lalo ngayon it's parang in effect we're building the grassroots organization for the entire campaign ng, let's say, ng Kongreso or ng mayor for 2025. That's why merong influence na rin na binubuhos sa ground for our from our political parties. Siyempre, sa iba't ibang syudad at iba't ibang lungsod, may kanya-kanya ring mga political parties na dala-dala sila. So, in general, siguro we have been involved with the political system for a long time. No? We went into government service as early as 1988 as a twin. That was our first job, and mula po noon, napatuloy po tayong naglilingkod sa bayan bilang kawani ng pamahalaan, or hindi man kawani, ay consultant po ng pamahalaan. So, yan po ang ating first love. No? So, since 88, so Marikina, and then nagkaroon po dito, na-involved din po tayo dito sa Quezon City, sa legislature ng Quezon City, sa City Council, and then ultimately sa local government management, kung saan part is managing yung tinatawag nilang District 2 dati ng Quezon City, which included the entire 14 barangays and the 5 barangays of Area 7 o yung Batasan, Payatas, Bagong Silangan, and then Commonwealth and Holy Spirit. So malaki pong big part of Quezon City po yan. It's almost half of Quezon City, if not more than half. No? Parte rin po tayo sa pagtulong sa pag-administer niyan nung mga nakaraang panahon. Then ultimately, we went to Malacanang as part of the political affairs group of the GMA administration. And then lastly, of course, our last involvement was with the House of Representatives as Chief of Staff of a party list congresswoman in the 15th Congress. So, yun po. Sa Kongreso po kanina, diniscuss natin yung iba't ibang political parties. No? Ano po ba talaga ang halaga ng political parties? What's happening ba to Philippine democracy? Marami pong issues. Marami pong dinidiscuss, maraming resources ang pinopour in po sa politika. If alam naman po natin, it's also happening ngayon ng mga political families na po ang nagdo-dominate. No? Sabi nga nila sa Kongreso, 1% of people in Congress is really very influential na po. No? And then on the ground, marami pong nangyayari. So political parties usually are supposed to be funded by the members of the political party. Dati po nagko-contribute ka pag tatakbo kang senador o tatakbo kang congressman. Nagko-contribute ka sa party at yung party naman din tumutulong din sa'yo sa lokal based dun sa mga tao nila sa ground. So, ganun po yung dating sistema. Ngayon po, dumadami na po ang mga miyembro ng Kongreso. So, during our time sa House, mga 250 plus, pati yung party list congressman. Now, it's 319 and you need the majority of 159. Yan lang po yung sa House of Representatives. Hindi pa po kasama ang Senado. Pero sa recent history po natin, ang Senado, ilang terms pa lang po yung masasabi natin na majority or whoever is president kasama niya sa partido yung ating mga kasama sa Senado. In the past, yung Senado po, siguro masasabi natin yung term na kalaban ng presidente or ng administration. Pero recently, nakapag-appoint na po ng mga shall we say, appointees of the president in the House and the Senate. So ano pong significance nun? Ang demokrasya po kasi is really having a lot of voices or listening to a lot of voices. Kunyari, ikaw ang presidente ng Pilipinas. Ano bang sinasabi ng ating mga brother Muslims? Ano bang sinasabi ng mga brothers natin na IPs? Or even, for example, freedom for the thought we hate, ika nga sa isang demokrasya for the communist movement. No? Alam naman natin na for now, at itong recent development natin, there is now peace in Mindanao, particularly in the BARM. A new government has been installed, no? Batay dun sa matagal na pakikibaka para sa isang peaceful at self-determination ng ating mga brother Muslims. And now, there is relative peace because that has been achieved. No? Merong sariling parliament, merong about 80 members of parliament representing various sectors in Mindanao. Iba't iba po. Iba rin po ang system nila sa BARM. No? At nagkaroon din po ng bagong election code kung saan binalangkas nila yung parang separate election code po and how it will be run in the BARM. Bagamat yung mga national elections, kasama pa rin po sila doon. So, ang katanungan siguro is, what is happening to Philippine democracy? So, okay. Ano nga po ba nangyayari sa demokrasya? Meron tayong mga phenomena, for example, na masasabi natin, pag sinabi nating phenomena, it's really something out of the ordinary. For example, itong phenomenon na pagkapanalo ni President BBM or Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at ni Vice President Sara. So, napakalaki at napakarami po ng votes nila. And then, of course, we have the the second, kumbaga yung sumunod sa kanila by mga ilang million din po yung difference, no? Of course, I think I'm not sure about the statistics, pero parang 9 million yata kay former Vice President Lenny, and then I think more pa ba? But of course, Kiko Pangilinan or former Senator Kiko Pangilinan got less, no? Parang half. Pag i-analyze mo yung half, yung nag-Lenny, parang half of that went to Tito Soto, half of that went to former Senator Kiko Pangilinan. So yun, no? And then ultimately meron mga tumakbong presidentiables na lower ang rank, no? We have Isko Moreno, of course, who ran also for the presidency, and lower yung rank niya. And then in Manila, siguro nagkaroon ng difference because it seems that yung masa talagang very strong yung inclination to vote for the unity, no? Yung I should say, no, yung middle class also most probably voted for Lenny or other political candidates during the last elections. But again, ika nga, pag tinitingnan bakit natin din discussion kasi yung relationship ng mga political parties versus the personalities, no? So si Isko ran under Action Democratico with Doc Willie, di ba? Parang gano'n. Si Lenny and Kiko ran under, of course, the Liberal Party. And then the coalition. And then yung BBM Sara ran using the two parties of Sara, well, of course, of BBM, and then of course yung partido ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Now, there at the end of the day, di ba, hinahanap natin demokrasya. Sinabi nga natin kanina earlier, we have a relative peace now in Mindanao. So itong mga kalaban noon na MILF and then MNLF are now part of the government. In fact, yung mga combatants ng MILF and then have already been decommissioned, and some of them are applying for the PNP and even the AFP. Now, anong significance? Bakit po ba mahalaga yung political parties? Because at the end of the day, supposed to be politics is about principles, no? Now, of course, later we will deepen that discussion kasi meron na ring issue na ano ba nangyayari sa politika sa Pilipinas? Is democracy really being is democracy really happening? Kasi gumagana na yung pera. Ngayon, pag pera, syempre, iba na. Artificial na yung pagboto ng tao. Pag binigyan mo ng 500, 1,000, 1,500 or 5,000 yung isang head of the family, he will not simply parang sabi niya, malaking bagay ito for me. So boboto ko ng kung sino man nagbigay sa akin ng pera, and then I will vote for that person. But of course, that establishes yung cycle, no? Yung tinatawag nating cycle of destruction, ika nga. Or at the end of the day kasi syempre pag bumoto ka ng taong nagbigay lang sa'yo ng pera without principles, without anything, you will be willing to, ako bilang politiko na gumamit lang ng pera, for example, at sinabi, ito nabigyan na kitang 5,000, so don't expect anything from me. Sinasabi nga nila, yung first term is an investment. So you use your own money. Kunyari congressman ka, tatakbo ka, you use your own money to win. Of course, everybody wants to win the elections. After that, you're already using government money. Bakit natin nasabi yan? Kasi meron ka ng dati pork barrel ang tawag, naging insertions. But whatever it is, you have resources coming from government na kaya mong i-roll out. Ngayon, yung ginagamit ngayon is IX or TUPAD. Of course, yung TUPAD is yung from DOLE. Yung IX is supposed to be from the DSWD. Yan po yung ginagamit na parang emergency assistance para sa ating mga tao. But that can be weaponized, which is what's happening now, wina-weaponize ng ibang mga congressmen natin, so they can influence the votes for, hindi naman po lahat they can influence the votes for the barangay officials. Remember, kailangan mo rin ng tao sa ground. If you're a congressman or if you're a mayor, you need people on the ground, no? Ang mahirap lang po dito is when we start influencing democracy for something else. No? There was a time, I can still remember, bata-bata pa po ako, you can actually win na maging konsehal ka ng Quezon City or maging congressman ka ng Quezon City or ng ibang syudad o lungsod without really using, hindi naman without using money. May konting resources ka pa rin gagamitin because you have to go around. You need logistics, you need food for your campaigners, poll watchers, etc. Meron pa rin naman. Pero not to the point of kumbaga bilihan na po ng boto. So in my watch, siguro even my consulting din sa mga iba't ibang politicians, I try to discourage kasi hindi naman po lahat ng panahon gagana ang pera. Sabihin people, lalo na hopefully sa ating kabataan itong SK elections, huwag nating paganahin yung pera kasi at the end of the day, may kapalit siya. No? So, yung mga tao na bumoboto, if you're looking for principles or principled men and women who want to run for office, yun po, punta po tayo dun sa mga taong talagang bagamat walang limpak-limpak na salapi, merong talagang pusong mga dalisay at wagas na talagang gustong tumulong sa bayan. Yan po, meron pa naman po at marami pa naman po mga taong katulad niyan. Hindi po. Huwag po tayo mawalan ng pag-asa. No? So, after, yun nga, napahaba yung kwento ko, pero at the end of the day, so, ano ba nangyayari sa Philippine democracy? So, it's slowly being diluted by the use of money. Ngayon, anong sources nitong perang ito? Marami pong sources yan. For example, personal business ng mga politiko or quite recently, actually hindi recently, may mga ilang cases tayo na money from illegal gambling is used to finance this, no? And then also, the worst of its kind is also the money coming from narco or narcotics, the trade of the narcotics trade, no? Which is of course illegal, alam naman natin yan. Or even as far as white slavery. In short, criminal money. Ito yung mga pera na, or even laundered money. So yan po yung ang tanong, what's happening to Philippine democracy? Nangyayari na nga po. Dumarating po tayo doon sa punto na we need to really, as a national, in conscience, really think about how we should manage political parties and how we should use the party list system. Mamaya po after our break, I will discuss the party list system na napakalalim din po ng mga pangyayari dyan. No? Ang nangyayari kasi because it was designed really for marginalized sectors to really participate in government. Dumating na po sa punto na nagbibilihan na po tayo ng mga party list. So if I am moneyed or if I have the resources and I want to buy a party list, I can buy it for X amount and then I will be the first nominee and then hopefully I will be congressman. So, or if I have a second or third nominee, hopefully I can become congressman, no? Because there are resources of government that can be used. Sabi ko nga po sa inyo kanina, sariling pera mo muna sa unang takbo. Pero yung succeeding na takbo po ng mga congressman or even some politicians, talaga pong government resources na po. Bakit? Because you're given resources. For example, sa Kongreso, kung regular congressman ka, wala ka naman masyadong maraming committees at tahimik ka lang, ayaw mo magtrabaho masyado, konti lang committee mo, you will still be given, meron pong sweldo yung staff mo. If you have committees, additional staff po yan, ganun din po sa Senado. And the more staff, the more committees, the more chairmanships you have, dadagdag po yung mga personnel mo. At during our time, it was siguro 500,000 pesos to run the office of the congressman for 1 month for one congressman. So ilan po nun? 250 plus 253 kami kung hindi ako nagkakamali ngayon. It's 319. Not to include how you will run Senate because sa Senate, syempre, you have also staff and personnel. So ganun po. May cost po ang taxpayers' money. That's why we really need to choose well. Anyway, magbe-break lang po tayo panandalian at mamaya po dadalhin ko kayo sa usapin ng party list at ang ibang political topics after po this short break here at Hashtag Para sa Bayan. See you later po. You're still watching Hashtag Para sa Bayan here on the new channel. Please don't forget to watch all our shows here on PNC. The new channel is an online alternative new media platform of online shows for people on the go. Please watch all our shows as seen on the screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, and your own content, but we make it easier for you. Also, TNC aims to transform the lives of viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our channel is a responsible, of course, global 24/7 platform that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. Of course, don't forget to watch also Hashtag Para sa Bayan every Saturday, 9 p.m. You can follow us on Facebook, IG, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search Hashtag TNC Now. Now, for sponsorships, please email now at thenewchannel.com or send us a DM. Yan. So don't forget, watch us all the time. So, okay. So we return. We go back to the show here on Hashtag Para sa Bayan. This episode is episode 50. About political parties and the party list system, what's happening to the Philippine democracy. So yung kanina sinasabi natin, ang daming political parties, tapos multi-party system na tayo, nagbuo pa tayo ng party list. Bakit ba nabuo yung party list? Now, of course, we'd like to say na originally, ang intent talaga ng party list is really to have the marginalized makasama natin sa Kongreso. Why? Because ako, yung isang party list that I worked for, it was really for caring for the poor, yung mga pagbibigay ng mga tulong or medical help to the marginalized, no? But what's happening to the party list system? Diba dapat sectors yan like farmers, like fisher folk, yung pong mga tinatawag nating marginalized or vulnerable sectors. So solo parents, mga PWDs, so lahat ng marginalized, even siguro in terms of diversity, di ba? Kasama dyan. Now, what happened? So, ang sinasabi nila, we have identified at least 120 of the 177 party list groups who have links with big political clans. Sabihin, kunyari, isang probinsya, merong governor, meron din siyang party list. Or sa isang lungsod na meron siyang siya yung mayor or siya yung congressman, meron din siyang isa pang party list. So, kasi ni-register niya, sinabi niya ito ay marginalized party. So, hindi clear, no? Yung sinasabi dito is yung political clans or big business, unclear advocacies, no? So, parang 70 party list groups have connections to political clans or incumbent national or local officials based on the statistics and the study of the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism. So ano po nangyayari? Originally, the intent makaupo dito yung sa Kongreso at sa Senado, well, not sa Senado, sa Kongreso, no? Yung 2%, pagka nakakuha ka ng 2% of the total of those who voted for party list, kunyari lang 50 million ang bumoto sa 50 million ang national votes. Dun sa national votes, merong bumoto na 30 million para sa isang party list. Clear po ba? Yan. So dun sa 30 million na yun, kukunin yung 2% of that at doon ibe-base kung papasok yung isang party list group or not. No? So if you go beyond that, if you have let's say 5%, patas na patas hanggang maka 6% ka, for example, you would have 3 seats and ira-rank siya according to the number of votes. No? So that is also ranked. So I think for this elections, in last elections, we have ACT-CIS. Hindi ko lang alam yung exact numbers nila, pero they became number 1, and then a few more party list groups that were either re-elected or new party list groups. Ngayon, ano po nangyayari? So, for example, ako ay governor ng isang probinsya at ako ay nag-set up ng isang party list. Kunyari, ang party list ko is Bayani. Yan, Bayani ng Bayan party list. Tapos ako rin yung nominee, Agbayani. Nato Agbayani, for example. Then ako rin yung nominee. Anak ako ni governor ng isang, in our case, before Pangasinan. Kunyari, anak ako ni Gov. Tapos, tumakbo ako sa party list. So, ano nangyari? For example, in the case of Pangasinan, we have 6 districts. So, 6 districts, meron na ngayon akong additional congressman. Pag nasa party list or pag nasa administrasyon lahat ng congressman, I will now have the resources of, kung akin lahat yung 6 congressman, meron akong 7th congressman, I will now have the resources of 7 congressmen. Marami po yun. Bakit po marami yun? Kasi ang isang congressman, siguro hindi ko na po alam yung cost ngayon. I was just in a meeting before, in a lunch with Dong, of course, Dong Mendoza a few weeks back, no? Tapos yun nga, pinag-usapan namin ano ba yung nangyayari? What's the reality that's happening? Naging Secretary General din siya ng House, no? We're not saying that it's bad or it's evil if they can do good for the country, diba? Whether lawyer ka or, for example, party list mo is fisher folk, hindi ka naman talaga fisher folk. But you are, let's say, anak ng fisher folk, o naiintindihan mo talaga yung plight nila, that it is challenged, hindi makapangisda yung mga tao sa West Philippine Sea, then why not, diba? Malaki naman maitutulong. Pero ang nangyayari po kasi is, yun na nga po, majority, almost 80% ng party list system natin o ng party list members natin are no longer marginalized, but they are part of, sabi nga ng PCIJ, 70 party list groups linked to families with that are moneyed. So, how does this affect our democracy? Ang nangyayari po, instead na makuha natin yung original intention, na magkaroon tayo ng mga people in power na nagre-represent sa kagalingan or welfare ng mga fisher folk, for example, hindi na po ganun na nangyayari. So they are representing themselves na. No? I'm not saying all of them, or I'm not saying hindi na tinatakil yung issues. For example, alam naman natin, yung Makabayan Bloc, sectoralized sila. So for example, Gabriela would be women, and then Kabataan Party List would be Kabataan, and then of course there's KMU, whatever. Very specific yung sector na nire-represent nila. In our case now, what's happening is hindi na siya distinct at medyo yung lines have now been unclear. Even the advocacies are now unclear. Kasi po, marami pa rin pong problema ang Pilipinas. So sinasabi natin, paano ba ang mga political parties at ang party list system marireform natin or tanggalin na ba ito totally, no? Ang nangyayari po kasi, syempre, sa bawat congressman may cost po tayo. May cost ang taxpayers' money. That's why we have the right to question, tama po ba ang ginagawa? Tama po ba ang ginagawa sa original intention ng sistema, which is really to have the marginalized represented. For example, ang PWDs po natin, roughly, it's about 10% of the country. So dapat lang po may representation ng PWDs. You talk about the solo parents, you're talking about 14% of the entire country. So dapat lamang po may representative ang ating mga solo parents. Yung iba pang marginalized sectors, no? I don't know the statistics, for example, for diversity or yung mga LGBTQIA+. For example, yung cost nila or even the faith-based groups na masasabi nating may right din o may karapatan din sa na maging part ng political system, no? Marami pong marginalized at vulnerable sectors, for example, yung mga manininda, vendors. Laging napapaalis sa street, walang permanent na lalaga ka ng mga goods nila. So yun, meron ding voice yun dapat, no? Marami pong dapat may voice. Women, marami naman na they say that they are for women's rights, no? Or IPs, yung mga indigenous peoples, no? Or even our Muslim brothers. Although under the law they're already being represented, no? I mean, I think there's a certain law that says that lahat ng government agencies should include a member of our Moro brothers, no? So yun, part of that. Ngayon, ano nangyayari? Is the system getting better or is it getting worse? Yung mga diniscuss ko kanina, sabi ko, saan ba nanggagaling yung sources ng funds? So, sa una, tatakbo ka in aid of election. Yung second run mo is in aid of re-election. Sabi nga ni ng former boss ko, si Nani Braganza. And then yung third run mo is in aid of vacation. Kasi ang nangyayari po, tatakbo ng 3 terms, magpapahinga, kukuha ng papalit sa kanila, and then magbabakasyon sila sa panandalian at tatakbo uli sila sa election. So it has become a family enterprise. Marami po sa ating congressmen are families, even councilors in the many districts, in the many cities and municipalities po, nagiging family talaga oriented. So ang tanong, may demokrasya ba? Talaga bang napapakinggan ang boses ng masa o ng tao? No? Is there social justice? Are we really able to address yung problems nating mga Pilipino sa barangay, especially sa barangay at the very basic unit, and then sa LGU, whether munisipyo yan o lungsod yan, or even sa probinsya? No? Na-address ba itong, meron ba talagang demokrasya? Ano ba nangyayari? Otherwise, nakakaiyak, di ba? Kasi yung mga young leaders natin na very idealistic, there's so many young people who are really good, and there's also so many young people who are becoming liabilities of the state or ng Pilipinas, na kailangan po nating isaayos yung buhay. Merong mga initiatives ng pamahalaan about free education, about a lot of free things. No? Scholarships, TESDA, you have CHED, you have TESDA, you have DepEd. May free naman pong education. But the point is, paano po yung mga baon, pamasahe, etc. Napakarami pa pong issues doon. That's why yung 4Ps natin, even from the time of Dinky Suliman, nakatutok towards yung may mga milestones na dapat gawin yung poorest of the poor family para po sila incentivized ng 4Ps. Ngayon, we are down to our last 15 minutes. ang dami-dami pong political parties and quite frankly, masasabi ko, parang clear po ba sa inyo kung ano yung pinaglalaban nila? Pag sinabi mong ABC party, whatever, or XYZ party, clear po ba na pinaglalaban nila yung interest ng bayan? O pinaglalaban lang po nila yung interest ng kanilang mga sarili? Pag sinabi pong party list, for example, clear po ba na yung party list na yon is really for a marginalized sector? No? Or is it just being used by a particular group or a particular person or by a particular politician para po makaupo sa Kongreso? At pag nakaupo sa Kongreso, marami po kasing resources sa Kongreso. Yan po ang may power of the purse. So, yung pong mga diyan din po nanggagaling, napakalaking bagay po yung pwede natin gawin sa Kongreso. No? Lalo tigit, ikaw ay tunay na makabayan at mabuting public servant. Napakarami pong pwedeng magawa dahil andyan po yung resources. No? It determines, ika nga yan yung power of the purse. Even yung pag-spend, how it is spent, no? ng ating cabinet or ng executive branch of government, that's where it starts. So, kaya po tayo may mga budget hearing, tapos na yata or patapos na. Dahil po dyan. Dahil kaya po may mga questions, for example, with DepEd, with DND, with the PNP, with DILG. Kine-question po yan ng ating mga congressmen in the committee hearings for budgeting. Kasi yan po, para alam po natin na hindi po, kumbaga, appropriate use of funds or wala pong excess, wala pong sinayang na pera ng pamahalaan. Yan po yung purpose ng mga budget hearing, sa ideal. Pero nangyayari nga po na there are certain budgets na lihis or lihis sa sistema ng ating fiscal controls sa Pilipinas. May controls po to. Huwag niyo pong isipin na ang gobyerno, pag gumastos ng pera, mapupunta lamang po sa corruption or sa bulsa ng tao. Meron po tayong mga career people na sinisiguro yung mga mabubuting kawani natin sa COA, yung mga mabubuting kawani natin sa Kongreso, yung mga staff ng mga congressman, at even sa DBM. Yung po mga naririnig natin, nakakalungkot po, no? Totoo naman po merong mga issues, but I think it's high time na i-acknowledge natin yung mga mabubuting kawani natin sa pamahalaan, lalo na sa national at even sa local. No? May mga tao po dyan na patuloy na nagsisilbi sa bayan selflessly. So, sa kapulisan, sa DBM, even maybe sa customs, or sa DepEd, nandyan po yung mga mabubuting kawani, lalo tigit yung ating mga guro. Happy National Teachers Day po pala bago ko makalimutan at Teachers Month sa ating mga guro, lalo na sa public sector, sa mga DepEd schools, even sa private sector po. Kung wala po mga guro, paano na lang po ang bansa natin. So, anyway, going back to the interest of the people, to the interest of democracy, ano po bang klaseng mga political parties ang kailangan natin? Sa totoo lang po, matagal na tayo, ako bilang batang aktivista noon at sa ngayon, hindi na po tayo bata, cute na lang. Pero ang point dito, yung pong pinaglalaban natin noon na sinasabi natin pagkain, diba? Sinasabi na food on the table, roof over our heads, and kung ano-ano pa. Hanggang ngayon po, pinaglalaban pa rin natin, tuloy pa rin po ang poverty. Although, ang NAPSI, sa tulong ng ating mga kaibigan dyan, of course, sila Sec Lopez, sila Yusek Gurley, tuloy-tuloy po ang ang paglaban, pagbaka sa poverty na maging, sabi nga ni President BBM, ibaba siya to a single digit kasi double digit pa rin po tayo sa poverty. Tuloy po yan, nangyayari pa rin. Yung mga concerns natin sa mga iba't ibang munisipyo at bayan na walang ospital or wala man lang access sa ambulansya, wala man lang access sa doktor. Napakarami pa po niyang mga munisipyo niyan. And yet, here we are, the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. So ano pong kailangan nating mga partido at party list groups in the future so that our democracy will work beyond our expectations. No? Let me give you ano yung tinatawag nila sa appreciative inquiry. Ano ba yung highest potential ng party system or ng Philippine democracy? Ano ba yung highest na pwede nating gawin? Or highest potential natin as a country? We still talk about the same issues. I remember Dr. Bernie Villegas prior to COVID-19 and even after COVID-19, he was saying na nagsabi ang HSBC that the country will be the 16th largest economy by 2050. Anong year na po ngayon? 2023? Malapit na po yun. Hindi na po tayo pwede magplano na by presidency after BBM, sino. Because there is no continuity. We have to plan now as a country and even our political system must become mature. Paano po yung maturity? Wag na po yung ay, dilawang ka, kadiri ka. Or pulahan ka, wag ka rito. Or blue ka. Or green ka. Or whatever you are. No? Lahat po ng mga naging presidente, siguro, sa tingin ko naman, ginawa nila yung lahat ng kaya nilang gawin. Sila, may mga kanya-kanya mga political parties. No? At dyan sa mga political parties na dyan, nag-emerge din yung mga galing na mga leader. Noon, mga leader kabataan at ngayon, mga leader pa rin natin. Paano po kung magkaroon tayo ng isang pluralistic political system kung saan tinatanggap lahat ng kaisipan? Kung saan nag-work together for the greater good. Not just the common good, but the greater good of all. Diba? Wag na, pwede ba tanggalin na natin? Kumbaga sa lovers, pwede ba wala na lang label? Wag na nating labelan, dilaw, ganon. Masyadong na-marginalize eh. Tapos ito pulahan sila. Ito mga Duterte sila. Ito mga Marcos sila. I have seen all of those administrations. And in one way or two or three, I have served under different administrations from the time of Cory Aquino to FBR, even to ERAP, through ERAP, and even through Digong and Pinoy, and etc. Nakita ko na po lahat eh. And a lot of people are still searching, ano ba yung highest potential ng Philippine political system? We have a group, we have mga kasamahan natin sa Political Officers League or POLFIL. Na ang discussion namin ngayon is, can we have a political system where everybody is accepted and where the greater good is what is thought of? Pwede bang maging modernong bansa tayo na merong innovation, na maging future ready, na magkaroon ng wag matakot sa AI at sa machine learning, kundi bagkus gamitin natin to for the greater good of a lot of people. Marami pa rin po tuloy ang mental health issues sa kabataan. Hindi lang sa kabataan. Tuloy ang iba't ibang issues ng teenage pregnancy, trafficking, the drugs, and it's getting into our political system. Nagiging mainstream. Yung narco money is going into the political system. And gambling money is going into the political system. Pwede ba mag-establish tayo ng isang political system kung saan tatanggapin natin lahat ng mga ideologies and even the energies of people, of our young people, of different faiths, whether Muslim ka, galing ka sa born-again Christian, Katoliko ka, Buddhist ka, whatever, you come from Maranatha Church or even the Unification Church. Ang daming kabataang leader, no, na pwede. Iba-ibang faiths. But yet, they can be part of this new pluralistic system where at the end of the day, power is shared between people who have only one thing in mind, which is to make this country great. Sa tingin niyo po ba, imposible yan? When in appreciative inquiry kasi, we ask the highest potential of what the parties, what people can do. Nakakasawa na po ang mga political parties natin na same thing over and over again. nakakaiyak po yung nangyayari sa party list system natin because it's already being abused and it's not doing good to the country. So we're asking all the people, yung mga makabayan, makabansang patriots, and also those who love God in this country, na magkaisa po tayo. Yung sinasabi ni President BBM na unity, and yung sinasabi noon na ni Cory Aquino na reconciliation, whatever it is, no? Lahat po ng talents ng mga magagaling na Pilipino, ipag-combine po natin. Whatever political color you are, whatever part of the spectrum ka, kung National Democrat ka, Communist ka, Social Democrat ka, RAM ka, or YOU, or military, or police, ano ba yung best that we can achieve, and best that we can do for the country? Sabi ka, Rebecca Bustamante, we share the same kabsat, di ba? What's our goal? To make this country a first world nation. Why? Because you came from poverty, we all came from different levels of poverty, and we want this country to be abundant and rich, not just in material wealth, but also in social justice, in health, in taking care of its people, in taking care of its environment. Yun po yung gusto natin mangyari. And at the end of the day, maybe, I don't know, maybe we can change the constitution, maybe we can do a lot of things, we can have a revolutionary government, but to me, all those things are just tools, no? Or those things are paths or avenues to a certain destination. Pero we can achieve a peaceful destination. We can achieve a political system that is modern, that adheres to, that really uses the resources of the entire country. Gusto po ba natin maging Mexican state? Sorry, not to offend our Mexican brothers and sisters. Gusto po ba natin maging narco state? Gusto po ba natin maging gambling state or gaming state? I mean, that can be... There is still time. We have 2025 coming up, and we have the barangay elections coming up this October 30. Ladies and gentlemen, mga kasama, mga kababayan, mga kapwa ko Pilipino, this is time that we change the political system and we renew what is best. Renew, rebuild, restore the country. Diba? Tama na po yung awayan. Tama din naman si President BBM, unity. Pero unity with justice, also unity with the end in mind na maging first world country ang Pilipinas, maging mabuti ang kalagayan ng bawat barangay at ng bawat marginalized at vulnerable sector sa Pilipinas. This has been #para sa bayan. Pagpatuloy natin pag-pray at pagdasal ang ating bayan para po sa isang bagong political system na pluralista o tumatanggap sa lahat basta sila ay para sa kabutihan ng kabuuan ng buong bansa. Please watch #para sa bayan next week. This has been Nato Agbayani, your host here on #para sa bayan sa TNC. God bless you all and mabuhay ang sambayan ng Pilipino. Bye.